What is the difference between where I stand right now and about 100 yards that direction? Well, the answer is a name. Right now I'm in Nevada, and that's Arizona. And with a difference in name comes a difference in laws, and those laws change the liberties I get to have in my daily life. In this video, we're going to look at what states are the freest places to live in the United States. Hi, my name is Tyus. I make videos about personal freedom, personal liberty, and I grew up in one of the least free states in the United States of America. Now I live in one of the most free states in the country. If you're curious which states are currently the freest and least free, watch this video to the end, because that's what we're going to be talking about. What state is the best to live in? Now, in identifying what is the very best state in the country, there's a lot of arbitrary factors at play. Maybe it has beautiful oceans or hiking or temperate weather. Maybe it has beautiful open spaces, or maybe you're somebody who loves big cities for the convenience of it all. Well, in this video, we're specifically going to be talking about what state is the freest. I like to do videos about personal freedom, so that's what the theme of this one's about as well. What state is the freest in the US? So how is this measured? Well, Cato Institute puts out a report called The Freedom in the 50 States. And it measures three basic factors. The first one is fiscal policy, and this makes up 30% of it. So this would cover things like taxation rates, government consumption, employment and debt, and assets. Now, 34%, the next third kind of, it's a little bit more than a third, comes down to regulatory policy, and this affects things like healthcare, land use, labor, and occupational laws. The last 34% is all around personal freedom. So this covers incarceration and arrest rates, drug policy, gun laws, gambling, marriage policies, education, and travel laws. Now, before we jump to what is the freest states, let's look first at which is the worst states when it comes to freedom in the United States. A lot of these surprised me, and coming in at number 5 for the worst states when it comes to freedom in the US is Vermont. Now, Vermont has really terrible economic policy. Their social policy is pretty bad too, but their economics is way worse. Now, this is having a delayed impact. It's actually taken a long time to see that the economic policy has impacted Vermont in a bad way, but now it's starting to become blatantly apparent. They also have some of the highest tax rates. Their state oversteps on a lot of their local laws, and their employment is really low right now. The fourth state is New Jersey. It was a tax haven for New York, so a lot of New Yorkers would have an extra little property in New Jersey that they would live at for a lot of the time, specifically so that they could pay New Jersey tax rather than New York tax. However, that tax rate has increased. It has limited policies around land use. The zoning is really exclusionary, so basically meaning a lot of people are not given the opportunity to live in places that they want to live. There's a lot of laws around wages and insurance, and it's not a right to work state, which makes employment very difficult. Makes people basically want to move out, and we're seeing that happen. So number 3 on the list of worst states is California, and I grew up there. California is my home state, but it's been declining pretty consistently. It has really high taxes. The cronyism is really high, especially with the technology giants that call Silicon Valley their home. They have restricted land laws that make real estate prices astronomical, and unfortunately that has led to a homelessness problem that is unprecedented. Now, the runner-up for the worst state in the United States is Hawaii, which has a bunch of regulatory problems, labor law issues, they've got land use policy problems, a really high tax rate, the government spending is out of control, and I hear they have beautiful beaches. Okay, the worst state in the United States is New York. It's actually been the worst state when it comes to freedom for a very long time. It has vast economic problems, and their social policies are really falling behind. So which states are the very best? Now, number 5 for the very best state in the United States is Nevada, which is the state that I live in. I'm so happy about this. Now, a lot of people are figuring out that Nevada is a great place to live because we're seeing about 25% migration rates into Nevada, which is amazing. It's very high. We have legal gambling, we've got legal prostitution. I wonder why they call it Sin City, right? Okay, so the 4th best state in the United States around freedom is Colorado. Now, it has some of the least cronyism, meaning governments are not often controlled by companies inside of Colorado. It's also the first state to enact basically cannabis for recreational purposes, right? It was the first one to really test that out. All the states were watching it, and as we've seen, many states have gone the way of Colorado when it comes to recreational drugs. It also has incredibly low regulations. State number 3 when it comes to freedom is Indiana. So this is the only state in the Great Lakes region of the country that is in this list for the top 5 states around freedom. It has great deregulation, which has really impacted insurance and telecommunication and education there. The runner-up for the freest state in the United States is New Hampshire. I believe New Hampshire used to be the #1 freest state. And it led the way with something called the Free State Project, which is where a lot of people that were liberty-minded, freedom-minded, all pledged to move to New Hampshire so that it had a large enough population where it could control essentially the voting base and people could vote along the lines of freedom. Now, it has incredibly low mandates, it has some great occupational freedom, and it has a really low tax rate, so it's an incredible state. Now, the winner for the freest state in the country, and this one really legitimately surprised me, is Florida. I was kind of floored by this because Florida is always kind of like a crazy place, but apparently no income tax, good economics, especially if you are a crocodile, then it's an incredible place. Now, everyone's going to have different priorities when it comes to which state they want to live in. For some people, it's going to be around education, especially if they've got children. Others that might own businesses, for them it might be fiscal responsibility and how they handle finance and regulation within that state. Now, I'm going to be linking in the description exactly where these states are ranked, and you can go in there and change which things are being valued most, so you can identify what state is best for you. In this video, we just gave you which ones are best for freedom in general, but you can go in there and tailor it exactly for your values. Now, if you missed my video on which countries are the freest, I just put that out so you can go check that out. I'll probably put a link here. I might not, I could miss. If a link comes down, it means I'm a responsible editor. And if a link doesn't come down, it means I forgot. More likely that's gonna happen. But if you like this content, please subscribe. It would mean a lot to me because I'm such a new channel, and it would help the algorithm quite a bit. And if you want to be notified when my next video comes out, hit the little bell. And if you love this content and know somebody who it would impact positively, please share this content with them. I hope to see you on the next video. Bye-bye.